like after watching the Knicks, I want the Pistons to play the Knicks in the first round. 'Cause I want that chaos. Is like even like I've had Knicks fans reach out to me saying, "I hope we don't see you in the playoffs because like the Pistons are the type of teams that Knicks would lose to in the first round because it's just like a New York Knicks thing to do." And like after watching them just implode against the Lakers last night, I was like, "Please, I need a Pistons Knicks first round matchup."
Well, especially after like Jalen Brunson got hurt. Like, hope that isn't too
Serious.
serious, but yeah, it's like their defense is questionable at best, like as it is, and then hopefully Brunson doesn't miss extended time. But like if he does, like where is their offense gonna come from? So yeah, like we've been having the conversation too about like preferred first round opponent, which I mean is a crazy conversation to have when you look back on where we recorded in November. And like I think I'm with you. I think the Knicks are the best matchup for the Pistons to potentially win a series. And just because like the opponents that the Pistons can realistically face, like each one of them is going to have a stretch big. Like you're not really getting around that. You have to figure out how to deal with that. But we know like what Tom Thibodeau does. He's going to play his guys into the dirt, which everyone does in the playoffs. And yes, it would be the first round, so the Knicks would still be a little bit fresh. But I just think the Pistons have a deeper roster. We've seen how Cade Cunningham plays in Madison Square Garden. Like those lights will be bright and that atmosphere will be unreal. And I think Cade will be the best player on the court in that series. So I like that option for the Pistons too. If it was like Indiana, I think that's my preferred just for watching it as a fan. But in terms of like basketball and matchup, I would love that Knicks series too.
Just to play contrarian a little bit, I've been saying it over on our podcast. I'm going to keep saying it. Anthony, tell me know if I'm insane, but the Knicks actually they petrify me a little bit. Not just because they're a really good offensive team, so they could score, but specifically, I just have this recurring nightmare that the Knicks do what the Atlanta Hawks did to Cade Cunningham, which is trap him back court to get the ball out of his hands, except the Knicks can do it with OG Anunoby and McCall Bridges. And that level of just size, length, and athleticism with two really good wing defenders getting the ball out of Cade's hands. Yes, now you're dealing with a 4-on-3 with the Knicks' three bad defenders, right? But who's going to take advantage of that if it's not Dennis Schroeder? I'm really scared that all of a sudden you get into that series feeling really confident because Cade has had some incredible nights at MSG, and then all of a sudden he doesn't even get a chance. He can't have. They don't let him have the ball. So the Knicks, they scare me a little bit. Those wing defenders, they scare me.
Yeah, I mean, the farm that they had to give up for not only Mikal Bridges but OG and Cat, like they obviously have championship aspirations, and like who would blame them, right? That's a very good basketball team. The only thing I would say with that is I do agree with you. Playoff basketball is way different from regular season basketball. But Tom Thibodeau being their coach, I know all these guys are going to play high 30s, high 40s until like the end of the season, and they're probably not going to be 100% healthy. Like saw last year how banged up they were, and the Pacers made the Eastern Conference Finals. So knowing that Tom Thibodeau is their coach and just the way that he plays their starters high minutes, I think that would actually benefit the Pistons in terms of just a first round matchup because knock on wood, the Pistons outside of Jaden Ivey have been really healthy, something that we haven't really been able to say in years past. Like this has actually been a very healthy basketball team for the majority of the season.
Yeah, and like imagine if you're Jalen Brunson, and again, hopefully he's healthy, and he's playing like 40 minutes in the playoffs, and second unit comes in, and like he just all of a sudden has Ron Holland bothering him like that. I feel like that is just so would be so annoying if you were Jalen Brunson. And we've been talking a little bit about how the Pistons may shorten their rotation in the playoffs as well, and I think Holland, like you have to give him at least some role, like even if it's just 10 minutes a game and you're increasing like other players' minutes. I just think the energy that he brings would be a benefit to really any team in the playoffs. Like, will he make mistakes? Sure. But what he gives you, I think, is better than just trimming him out of the rotation as well. So, and you can't say the same thing for a lot of rookies in this league right now who are going to get that playoff experience. So I think like top to bottom, the Pistons definitely have players who can score and who can just make the Knicks' life a little bit difficult on defense as well, which would definitely make for an interesting series.
And just the flip side of that Ron Holland thing too, right? From his perspective is think about how incredible a development opportunity that is to get a guy as young as him, as raw as him, 10 minutes a night in an actual playoff series, not just to play in a playoff series. One, not many rookies actually get that shot. So that's one. But two, for the Pistons, yeah, they're ahead of schedule, but they're also not a championship contender right now. So you're still building. You still have to have that future forward look. And in order to give a guy like Ron Holland, who could be an essential part of this core moving forward out on the wing, perhaps next to Asar Thompson in the future, to get him this experience early and have the luxury of doing that. And you compare that, I think Blake, you brought up previously, like Matas Buzelis, right? Who's just in a really tough situation there in Chicago as another G League Ignite guy. And you couldn't have put those two players in a different spot. So I think that the opportunity for Ron Holland is too great from both the Pistons' perspective and then his developmentally, where even if you trim it, I'm with you, Blake. You got to keep him in there. The upside is too great.
Yeah, I know fans have been like really hard on Simone Fontecchio. Like I get it. I just attribute it to the foot surgery, not having a full training camp to get ready, because at the end of the day, he's a good player. Like I think the game in Utah was probably one of his better games this season. Passing the basketball. I feel like some people really look at the box scores, but he made some pretty good passes this road trip so far. But like I could see Ron taking some of his minutes just because the
solid
energy.
Defender too.
Yeah, solid
right?
defender.
I mean, he's just solid.
Yeah, like I can honestly see Ron taking a little bit of his minutes, and just the way Ron brings energy and the way this team likes to run now, I feel like Ron is always the first player on that second unit, pushing the pace and helping this team run in transition and get those transition opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. And when you like look at what the rotation is now, I think the clear, I guess, if someone was going to get pulled from the rotation in the playoffs, like it does seem like it would be Fontecchio, but that doesn't mean he won't find minutes either if like there's foul trouble, whatever comes up. And I think he's a good option. Did I think he was going to have a much better season than he did? Yes, 100%. Has been very up and down. I think when he is coming in for like Asar Thompson, it's just a drastic downgrade in athleticism that is on the floor. And like, that's not Simone Fontecchio's fault. It's just Asar Thompson is that incredible of an athlete. Like anyone in the NBA in that situation, you could say the same thing about. But yeah, it's nice even if Fontecchio is out of the rotation, if the Pistons need to go to him, like he can shoot the ball. Yes, he's been up and down. He's a solid defender, like you guys mentioned, and just a good option as well. But Ron Holland just seems kind of built for playoff basketball to me. So I'm excited to see him in that situation. I'd be shocked if his like role was trimmed out just getting into the postseason.